William Joyce, better known to the British public as Lord Haw Haw, was one of the most reviled figures in Britain during the Second World War. His nasal voice, delivering nightly propaganda broadcasts from Nazi Germany, became infamous, and to many, he symbolised betrayal. When the war ended in May 1945, the hunt for Joyce intensified. His arrest, which took place under dramatic circumstances, marked not only the fall of a key figure in Nazi propaganda, but also set a precedent for post-war justice. In this video we explore the story of William Joyce's arrest, having a look at what actually truly happened that day near to some woods. To support our channel, please click subscribe. William Joyce was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1906 to an Irish-American father and an English mother. Though born in the United States, Joyce was raised in Ireland and later moved to England, where he became deeply involved in far-right politics. A fanatical anti-communist and anti-Semite, Joyce joined the British Union of Fascists, the BUF, led by Sir Oswald Mosley, rising quickly due to his speaking skills. Eventually he broke away to form his own group, the National Socialist League. When war with Nazi Germany seemed inevitable in 1939, Joyce fled Britain and settled in the Third Reich, where he offered his services to the Nazi regime. He became the English-speaking voice of the German state radio, broadcasting propaganda aimed at demoralising British troops and civilians. The British press soon dubbed him Lord Haw Haw, mocking his plummy, upper-class accent and sneering tone. Though the name originally referred to another broadcaster, it stuck to William Joyce. His broadcasts, beginning with the infamous phrase, Germany calling, were deeply loathed in Britain. Joyce's voice was recognised by millions, even if many dismissed his words. Nevertheless, he became a symbol of treachery, a man who turned his back on the country of his upbringing in service of their enemy. As the Nazi regime began to crumble in early 1945, Joyce and his wife Margaret, who had also worked for German propaganda, fled Berlin. They headed north, eventually settling near to Flensburg, close to the Danish border, where the remnants of the German government under Admiral Karl Dönitz were based. Joyce continued to broadcast even after Hitler's death, defiantly stating that Nazism would endure. By May 1945, Germany had surrendered unconditionally. The Allies were rounding up Nazi officials, collaborators and war criminals across the ruins of the Reich. William Joyce was high up on the list of wanted men. His broadcasts had made him notorious, and the British government was determined to bring him to justice. On May 28, 1945, William Joyce was arrested in a wooded area near to the German-Danish border by two British soldiers of the Intelligence Corps. Both were tasked with locating German officials and collaborators. Now the arrest of William Joyce, Lord Haw Haw, came by chance. The soldiers spotted a suspicious man loitering in the woods. When they called out, the man, Joyce, turned quickly, revealing a distinctive voice and a wounded right arm. As he turned, he went to pull something from his pocket, prompting the soldiers to then shoot at him. Joyce was hit in the backside and thigh, but survived. Upon closer inspection, the soldiers realised who they'd just shot, the infamous Lord Haw Haw. William Joyce was taken to a British field hospital and then transferred to London under heavy armed guard. His arrest was greeted with satisfaction and outrage in equal measure. The British public, long subjected to his mocking broadcasts, now had their villain in custody. The legal path to Joyce's trial was not straightforward. The key challenge lay in his nationality. Joyce had been born in the United States, held an Irish passport, and had taken German citizenship during the war. The British government had to prove that he owed allegiance to the British Crown at the time when he committed his acts of treason. The breakthrough came when prosecutors discovered that Joyce had fraudulently obtained a British passport in 1933, which remained valid until the outbreak of the war in 1939. Because he used that passport to travel to Germany, and remained there as a British subject until July 1940, when he was granted German nationality. The British courts ruled that he owed allegiance to the Crown during the critical early period of his broadcasts. This allowed the Attorney General, Sir Hartley Shawcross, to proceed with a charge of high treason, which of course carried the death penalty. Joyce's trial began at the Old Bailey in September 1945 and attracted huge widespread public interest. Joyce conducted much of his own defence himself. He argued he had never been truly British and therefore could not be guilty of treason. But the prosecution contended that by holding a British passport and enjoying its protections, he had entered into a legal relationship with the British Crown. His broadcasts aimed at undermining British morale and aiding the enemy constituted a clear act of betrayal. The jury found him guilty and the sentence was death. He appealed to the House of Lords, but the conviction was upheld. Lord Jowett, delivering the judgment, famously stated that he was under the protection of the Crown and therefore owed allegiance. On January 3rd, 1946, William Joyce, Lord Haw Haw, was hanged at Wandsworth Prison by the renowned British executioner Albert Pierpoint. It was one of the last executions for treason in British history. According to reports, Joyce faced death calmly, and just before his execution, he is said to have remarked, "In death as in life, I defy those who cause the war, and I defy the powers of darkness which they represent," alluding to his anti-Semitism. The arrest and execution of William Joyce, Lord Haw Haw, remains still controversial to this day. Some legal scholars actually argue that the reasoning behind his conviction stretched the definition of allegiance and also treason. Others view the case as a necessary assertion of justice in the aftermath of a brutal and devastating war that caused a huge amount of suffering. What is indisputable is that Joyce's voice had been a symbol of betrayal. He used the power of radio to spread lies, hatred, and division on behalf of a genocidal regime. His broadcasts, while not as effective as the Nazis hoped, was in a sense a psychological weapon that sought to demoralise a besieged Britain. His arrest, almost accidental in its nature, brought to a close one of the strangest and most disturbing chapters in the history of wartime propaganda. Lord Haw Haw's fate served as a warning to future collaborators that even words could kill, and those who served tyranny would one day be called to account. Thanks for watching. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe, and once again, thank you so much for watching.